Number 2, DeShone Kizer, the project quarterback who needed tons of time to develop, was thrown to the wolves. Not only did Kizer lead the league in interceptions, but tack on his 6 fumbles lost with a woeful lack of production.
It's a tough spot to be in. I'm the winningest quarterback in this league.
DeShone Kizer was traded following the season, and as the Browns had suffered through yet another catastrophic failure at quarterback, the one they could have drafted was balling out.
Yes.
Early in the regular season, Deshaun Watson had taken the league by storm. He produced 5 touchdowns in a blowout win over the Titans, and then again had 5 touchdowns the following week. These just so happened to be his 2 performances prior to playing the Browns. And against Cleveland, the difference in quarterback play was staggering. While Watson looked like a Pro Bowl veteran, Cleveland's quarterback that day, Kevin Hogan, looked like he didn't belong, producing a horrendous 38.1 quarterback rating and 3 interceptions in a game where the Browns were completely overmatched.
I don't really pay nobody fucking with it anyway, you know what I'm saying?
24 fucking hundred. I come from that fucking block. I been out that Johnny up and up that cutter. If we cannot get.
Welcome back. We back with another reaction video. Today we're reacting to a KTO video. The most miserable franchise in the NFL. It's the Browns. Which, why is it not the Bears? Because they had championships back in the day? Because it feels like it's the Bears. It really might be the Bears, not a lot to think about it. Anyway.
Unlike John Dorsey, Andrew Berry's player transactions were more low-key, which included solidifying the offensive line with signing Jack Conklin to play right tackle and drafting Jed Wills 10th overall to play left tackle. The offense became a West Coast-based scheme with a heavier emphasis on playing under center and utilizing play action for Baker as opposed to the abysmal drop back and get sacked offense in 2019. But prior to the season, COVID happened, which had a major effect across the league. Teams had to do Zoom call meetings, limiting in-person time. It was a huge trial, especially for teams like the Browns, who had a whole new coaching staff and system that they were implementing.
Like each other.
On opening day, it felt like 2020 was going to be much of the same as we saw in 2019. But the following week was the beginning of a new era, and something strange and unusual began to happen. Cleveland started to rock.
Allowed 155 to the Giants. This one downfield. Beckham got him. Touchdown, Browns.
Big
Haskins in trouble. That's a strip. Ball is out and it's recovered by Miles Garrett. Mayfield on a fake. Flip to Beckham and he gets away. Now Beckham has room to run. Odell Beckham comes back.
Excuse me, little dude. Brother, was that a reverse?
Play clock down to 1. He's back to Beckham and he gets away.
Ain't no
Browns. He's going to fester for them at times, David. Haskins in trouble. That's a strip. Ball is out and it's recovered by Miles Garrett.
Mayfield. Oh my God. Y'all let this nigga score on a reverse. He went 50 yards on a reverse.
A lot of fake. Flip to Beckham and he gets away.
Brother, you can't do that on the damn game.
Odell Beckham Jr. all the way. Touchdown.
That's when that skipping, what's that arguing about? Oh yeah, you supposed to bump your face out.
It's another strip sack. Olivier Vernon trying to pick it up. And the ball scooped in, and it's Ronnie Harrison. And here's John going the other way. He's going into the end zone. Touchdown Browns. First TD of the game. He's a release, but an on-target throw is intercepted.
That ain't Denzel.
Pick 6 to the house for the Browns.
Fake it. Mayfield sets his feet. He throws the deep ball. Wicked separation. Downfield by himself. People Jones, goodbye.
Oh yeah. That's People Jones.
Cleveland's season sent shockwaves throughout the NFL world. For the chance to make the playoffs, it all came down to a win and you're in scenario versus the Steelers in the final game of the regular season.
Did it? They won this game.
Looking for him. He's got it.
And they played us.
And it's over.
BTA.
Do you feel like this Browns team has a different vibe, a more successful vibe than what you've seen in the past from them?
They can win this game in the BTA.
Up every year. I think they're nameless great faces. They have a couple good players on their team, but at the end of the day, like,
ain't it crazy how Juju got a ring?
I don't know, like, it's the Browns. It's the Browns, and that's just like one of those things that, you know, AFC North football. You know, they're a good team, but I'm just happy we're playing them again. You know, this Sunday.
Oh my God! Big damn! I ain't never seen that nigga run that fast.
They wind up with a touchdown. Winner of that award is pass is intercepted to the 50-yard line.
Broke his damn leg on that pass.
Caught over the middle by Landry. Inside the 10, and Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, it's cool. We gonna get that done.
Pulls his way. Second and 20, fires over the middle again.
I'm talking straight BTA.
At the 44-yard line.
Steelers suck. It's crazy, bro. The Steelers ain't been good since I was in middle school.
In my entire life, the Browns hadn't won a single playoff game. Not one. You have to go all the way back to 1994 to find the last time the Browns achieved this feat. And the fact that it came against their rival Pittsburgh, and with what Juju said, it just made it that much sweeter.
At Heinz Field, where the Browns have defeated the Steelers 48-37 and have advanced to the divisional round of the playoffs.
The following week, the Chiefs sent the Browns home after a Chad Henne scramble to clinch the game. But regardless of the loss, the Browns had finally proven they could compete. This was the start of something special.
We're still proud of this team. You see the Browns here coming home to Cleveland Hopkins Airport after losing to the Chiefs yesterday, but fans still welcome them and thank them for a great season.
Baker Mayfield was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. Nick Chubb was Nick Chubb. Myles Garrett bounced back from his disgraceful 2019 exit and dominated in 2020. He was simply one of the best players in the NFL. Cleveland had everything you could want in a franchise, a young nucleus of proven talent, with a competent head coach. They couldn't possibly mess this up, right?
The story today is Cleveland's going to probably have to move Odell Beckham. We've been saying this for 2 years. He's brittle, he's expensive, he's a star, he doesn't fit in Cleveland, and Baker Mayfield was clearly, data proves it, no debate, better without him.
During the 2020 season, when Odell was playing, although he had a few splash plays early, Odell's season had mostly been disappointing. He had been on pace to finish under 1,000 yards. Then, in Game 7, he tore his ACL. Not only did the Browns keep winning without him, but their pass game actually improved. This led to a particular narrative that gained steam. Did OBJ make the Browns worse? This was a regular discussion amongst fans and the media, and it was one of the bigger talking points.
If anything, he made it easier for Landry to get off, because it's like, nigga, we gotta go guard Odell. So let's go ahead and bring our best over here. And little buddy and Peoples-Jones get to eat off the scraps, because we sending everybody to Odell.
Prior to the 2021 season. Of course, during the 2021 run, many Browns fans were simply enjoying the ride to the end.
Once the laughing stock of the NFL, now our Cleveland Brownies, now a trendy pick for a Super Bowl win this year.
11-6 for Sean, 12-5 for me.
The Cleveland Browns are a legitimate bona fide threat.
All the way, baby. We're going all the way. We got Baker, the touchdown maker. We got Nick Chubb. We're just going all the way. That's it.
Seemingly everybody was excited for the upcoming season. The Browns began 2021 as one of the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. They had all their key players returning, plus the addition of key free agents, namely Jadeveon Clowney. If the team in 2019 was a hype beast built off nothing but potential, the 2021 team had actual substance, since they were coming off a season where they had just won a playoff game. The first contest of the season saw Cleveland looking to get their revenge on the Chiefs, and early on, it appeared as if the Browns were going to win. But after a few botched plays, they threw it all away, and the Chiefs won. Despite the loss, Browns fans were still excited for what was to come. The team would rattle off 3 straight wins, including a career moment for Myles Garrett, where he had 4.5 sacks and terrorized Justin Fields all game. The Browns defense that day held the Bears to 47 yards, the fewest they had allowed since 1946. However, during this stretch, Baker suffered an injury.
On the interception, the return is coming back against Justin Reed. Baker Mayfield tries to make the tackle.
It's like it hurts.
After this sequence, Baker was clearly hurt and continued to play through it. And after a few weeks, the initial shoulder injury was made worse.
Baker is still down. He's playing with that sore left shoulder, partially torn labrum, and he landed right on it.
Baker, tough as nails, found a way to fight through the issue and continue to play. But at some point, fans began to wonder if Baker's toughness was doing more harm than good.
Mayfield gets it protection, and he overshoots his intended receiver.
After a loss to Pittsburgh on Halloween,
but it's like his balance is off, literally. Literally.
It had become painfully clear that something was off. The offense had been anemic in 4 of the last 5 games, and a lot of it appeared to fall back on Baker and the effect his injury was having on him. On that day, Odell had just 1 catch for 6 yards, as the Browns failed to do much of anything offensively in the second half. This moment right here, I remember thinking how Baker just got a critical first down to keep the drive alive late in the game and was hyped, and Odell just sort of looked uninterested. I may have read—
Oh, Lord. Yep. Like, brother, your quarterback is playing with an upped up shoulder. Can you at least show some type of enthusiasm? I know you don't want to be here, but damn. Also, bro, Shannon Sharp was wilding back in the day. Y'all can find clips. But when he was on Fox Sports, he was, like, just debating Skip a lot, right? And Skip was always riding Baker. So, it made it seem like da-da-da-da. But, like, nigga, Shannon was having the most disingenuous arguments ever. You know that this man is injured, and you talking about how he's playing like he's horrible. What do you expect to happen? That's crazy.
Read too much into this at the time, but something just felt off.
Oh, he out there on the field.
In some sense, something was definitely off.
We don't have no backup quarterback.
Not a dull day by any stretch of the imagination. Odell Beckham's dad's Instagram account posted this, saying that Odell is open.
The video that Odell's father promoted sent shockwaves throughout the NFL world.
A great follow on Instagram, I'm just learning. The video he posted that we were going to talk about was sideways and wrong.
If his dad is posting that, it indicates that perhaps Odell would have been fine with a trade, would have welcomed a trade.
There's no way Baker is deliberately trying to sabotage Odell. Baker's trying to get a $180 million contract. He's getting a $400 million contract. You think he wants to look bad?
The original 11-minute video showcased time and time again Odell getting open, and Baker either not seeing him or for some reason not wanting to throw to him. The video was alarming and really painted Baker as the villain. The hashtag #FreeOBJ went viral, and even LeBron James endorsed it. Something had been off for a while. Odell did make plays from time to time, but there always felt like some sort of disconnect. It always felt like Baker would hit everyone else, but then miss when he threw to Odell, or Odell would drop a wide open pass. The relationship between Odell and Baker, Odell and the team, Odell and the city had been on the ropes for a while. And this moment with his dad was the breaking point. The day after the video dropped, Odell was excused from Browns practice.
If you were the guy running the show there, if you were sitting in the chair that Andrew Barry is sitting in right now, what are you doing?
I'm releasing him. As simple as that.
2 days after that, the Browns officially announced they were going to release Odell.
I think that there's this misnomer out there about Odell Beckham Jr. needing to be the guy. I don't think that's what he feels. He just needs to feel like an active, productive part of something that's working.
And 9 days after the video was promoted by Odell's father, OBJ was officially an LA Ram. He played 29 games in Cleveland, and although he did have some spectacular moments,
I mean, he got a ring. It is what it is.
His time with the Browns can be best characterized as distracting and disappointing. Although, in fairness to Odell, many of his former teammates really liked him. Also, it didn't help the Browns' case when he started balling out with the Rams.
Here's one for Beckham.
I mean,
it felt Monday as I watched him, I thought, it's one thing to be Stephon Diggs and go from productive to super productive. It's another to go from not to really quickly productive. The optics are bad to me.
As Odell was thriving in his new home.
But you talking about optics, nigga, one shoulder is healthy, one shoulder is fried. What optics? The only optics would be you don't watch football, so you're saying dumb shit.
Back in Cleveland, the pass game continued lacking, and the losses continued stacking. Baker, over his final 6 starts of the season, looked like the worst quarterback in the NFL, a shell of himself. He averaged less than 200 yards a game, barely completed half his throws, and threw more interceptions than touchdowns. The Browns finished 2021 with an 8-9 record. Outside of Nick Chubb, who continued to be one of the best backs in the NFL, the offense regressed. Myles Garrett had another dominant season, earning first-team All-Pro honors again with 16 sacks. At times, it felt like he single-handedly won games for them. I also can't forget to mention how great Denzel Ward was. He was named to his 2nd career Pro Bowl. Again, there was talent on this team that was constantly proving itself. Fans knew this and looked for someone to blame. And the main targets were Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield. Although there were plenty who didn't like the way Stefanski did things.
Baker Mayfield was brought to Cleveland to run an offense that's high tempo. Just get out there and sling it. Now, you're running a Kevin Stefanski offense that doesn't ask that doesn't want that.
The organization clearly favored him over Baker. 2020 felt like a distant memory. Us Browns fans went from thinking that we had found our franchise quarterback and were going to be competing for Super Bowls to debating whether or not we should let Baker go. 2 basic camps emerged: the pro-Baker and anti-Baker crowd. The pro-Baker camp argued he ignited the spark that helped turn this team around. He was definitely the best quarterback the Browns had had since 1999. So how could you let him walk? We saw him set rookie touchdown records and play at a top 10 level in 2020. So who's to say that he wouldn't get back to that when he was healthy? The anti-Baker camp argued that while Baker did play well at times, he was wildly inconsistent game to game and year to year. Throughout his time in Cleveland, the team had arguably the best rush offense in the NFL and the best interior offensive line in the NFL. Whenever the offense had to rely on him to make plays, instead of complementing the run game, it usually went poorly, especially against good teams. 2020 was more of a great system rather than a great season by Baker. Any average NFL quarterback could have been plugged into that system and done good enough.
What is good enough? What is good enough? Playoffs? That what y'all want to get to the playoffs? Good enough? Nigga, y'all are dumb. It's some short-sighted because you're talking about good enough. Any nigga that was in the anti-Baker faction didn't want a ring. Man, what do you mean good enough? Nigga, you're gonna need a quarterback that's better than good enough. Bro, you need at least above average quarterback, bro. Unless your running game or your defense is just on crack, nigga. Like, no, you're gonna need a little bit of both. They kind of gotta complement each other. That's why it's a team game. Y'all trying to put all this pressure on Baker, nigga. His shoulder's fried. It's fried. That's stupid. All the anti-Baker niggas are dumb. And now y'all like, oh, we got Deshaun Watson. I wish we had Baker.
Again, just to clarify, that was the argument made against him. Clearly, these types of debates weren't just happening amongst fans and media. The front office thought the same way, as they had plenty of time to sign Baker to an extension throughout 2021, and they didn't.
It's a trust issue. As the leagues become more quarterback-centric and more pass-happy, Baker's averaged fewer pass attempts every year of his career. They don't want Baker throwing the ball.
Also, the logistics continued to look bad for Baker when OBJ continued to thrive. Not only did he put up better numbers in LA, but he also caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Going to the end zone.
Y'all do realize Matt Stafford is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, right? Like, I'm confused. Why would the optics look worse when he's clearly not as good as Matthew Stafford? I don't get that.
Odell Beckham Jr.
He did tear his ACL in that game, but still, there was a lot of evidence that was going against Baker.
The average age of Baker Mayfield's peers in the AFC is 26, and on average, they all better.
The Browns front office began to explore other options. For free agency, there was nothing special, and it was considered a weak draft class for quarterback. But in the trade market, there was some rare opportunities that were on the table. 3 franchise quarterbacks, all very successful in their careers, were looking for trades. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and the man the Browns could have drafted all the way back in 2017, but didn't, Deshaun Watson. Rodgers ended up staying with the Packers, and Wilson didn't want to go to Cleveland. But with Watson, there was a small chance the Browns could land him. For over a year, the potential of Deshaun Watson being traded by the Texans had been floated out there. He hadn't been linked to the Browns throughout 2021, but after the way Baker played, and considering Watson had made 3 straight Pro Bowls in his career, why wouldn't the Browns go try and get him? Well, there was a serious issue.
The NFL is now investigating accusations against Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. 3 massage therapists have now filed civil lawsuits alleging assault.
All filed by women who accuse Watson of lewd, inappropriate conduct during personal massages.
For over a year, Deshaun Watson was at the forefront of one of the worst sports-related scandals of my lifetime. The reports were graphic and disturbing. The red flags here were so large, you could see them if they were planted on the moon. But taking risks on shady individuals and practices were nothing new to NFL owners, especially Jimmy Haslam. So the Browns threw their hat in the ring, and in the process, destroyed their relationship with Baker Mayfield.
QB Baker Mayfield has requested a trade per sources. Cleveland has been hoping to move forward after its Deshaun Watson pursuit and offered to fly to Texas to meet with Baker Mayfield. But from the QB's perspective, the bridge is burned, and it's time to move on now.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I kind of respect Baker for that, bro, because it's like, I just came off an injury, and while granted, Deshaun Watson has had better seasons than me, I don't think he's better than me. Also, I'm younger than him. So y'all betting on him when I could probably do the same thing. Matter of fact, Baker's doing better than him now, but I mean, hindsight's 2020. Why would I ever want to go back to y'all and y'all think I'm a hoe? Clearly. Y'all go behind my back and say, yeah, let's go get Deshaun Watson. Y'all think I'm a hoe. All right, bet. I'm leaving.
They didn't go to them and recommend a trade. They say, we want Deshaun Watson, and we'll get you up and we'll put you in the trade.
This was quite a blow to the Browns at the time, considering Watson had ruled out Cleveland and narrowed his choices to the Falcons and Saints. But in a stunning act, one day after Baker's trade request, Jimmy Haslam made an offer Watson couldn't refuse.
We've been waiting for days to find out where Deshaun Watson is headed. I bring in Ian Rappaport, NFL Network insider. Ian, where is Deshaun going next?
We put more time, more thought, more effort on this decision than any other decision we've made with the Cleveland Browns. It's not something we took lightly. It's something we took very seriously.
This is the worst decision you've ever made.
We feel comfortable with the process we've been through.
As the leader
a 5-year, $230 million contract, fully guaranteed.
Brother, what's
that was $80 million more than the previous record. And not just that, but they sent Houston a massive amount of draft capital.
Hey, what did we give up?
A number 1 pick this year.
And?
First round pick next year. And the year after that.
CJ Stroud.
Hey, that's our future.
After Watson accepted this was such a massive gamble. It was like betting your life savings on red. The reaction from Browns fans were mixed.
The way we work here in Cleveland, man, he comes here and wins, it's all going to be great. If he doesn't, everybody's going to look at it as a big mistake.
Although it did appear that the team had a better quarterback, the divisiveness amongst the fans remained. One of the most shocking comments in all of this drama was that the Browns wanted to move on from Baker because they wanted, quote, an adult.
You want an adult? You mean an adult terror? You mean an adult porn star? You mean an adult star? There's no way you mean an adult. And this nigga has 22 alleged cases of inappropriate behavior. Nigga's not an adult. He's a freak. Freaky, man.
At quarterback. Jimmy Haslam later denied this allegation, but that's what was reported at the time.
Wherever is true from what got reported, you know,
I think it rubbed Jimmy Haslam the wrong way, and it prompted Jimmy to feel like he could go over the top with the money because he was just kind of tired of the whole situation.
A few months later, in July, the Browns traded Baker Mayfield to the Panthers for a 5th-round pick. The guy who was once anointed the savior of Cleveland had been given up for peanuts. Another prominent figure that departed Cleveland was Jarvis Landry. Jarvis had been a popular player and served a critical role in the rebuild. For better or worse, the Browns had moved away from their vocal offensive leaders that had rebuilt them, in exchange for hopefully a more talented crew. However, here's another thing about Watson. Not only was this a major gamble, but the team basically punted the 2022 season due to his looming suspension.
Well, I've always stood on my innocence and always said that I've never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand on that.
They suspected there would be a suspension around 6 games, but it ended up being 11.
I understand that you are innocent until proven guilty, but when he goes to arbitration and the findings from Sue L. Robinson, those are binding. And to me, at a minimum, Deshaun Watson should have been suspended for a season, and that's still not a win for the NFL.
There are quesadillas, and then there's Zaxby's giant chicken finger quesadillas. Packed with their famous chicken fingers, cheese.
What doesn't this game have, right, Isabel? We've been counting down to this matchup for quite some time now between the Browns and their former quarterback, Baker Mayfield, and the Carolina Panthers.
Obviously, there's a lot of attachment there. I'm not going to, like I told you guys at Wofford, I'm not going to sit here and be a robot and say that it doesn't mean anything. I want to say they won the game. They will. If I wasn't wanting to win, then there would be a really big issue.
York to try to win the game. The kick. Oh, look at this. There's the distance, and Cade York wins it for Cleveland.
The Browns began 2022 defeating their former quarterback in dramatic fashion. However, the good times this season were few and far between.
We continue to follow the car crash involving Browns player Myles Garrett. And tonight we have brand new body camera video showing the immediate aftermath of when first responders arrived on scene in Wellington.
Just 3 weeks into the 2022 season, Myles Garrett avoided tragedy when his car went off the side of the road and flipped. Luckily, he and the female passenger walked away with non-life-threatening injuries. Garrett was not under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. Remarkably, he only missed 1 game.
That man just quit on him.
Back to make a difference and change his game for a minute.
And returned to all-pro form right away. He went on to finish with 16 sacks and was named a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. But for the most part, the Browns' defense in 2022 was atrocious. Oddly enough, the Browns' offense was better with placeholder starter Jacoby Brissett in 2022 than it was with Baker Mayfield in 2021. But this offense couldn't overcome their defensive woes. When Deshaun Watson was slotted to make his first start, the team was a long shot to make the playoffs with a 4-7 record.
I'm excited to be back around my teammates.
Watson faking a shove to the end zone. It's picked off.
Offensively, it was a rough first game.
Brother, did he just throw that straight to the Texans? Hey, man, he's still a Texan at heart. Simple.
For Deshaun Watson, who truly looked like a guy who hasn't played in an NFL regular season game in 700 days.
Over the 6 games Deshaun Watson started, he was not good. Actually, pretty terrible. This was easy to dismiss at the time because he didn't play in 2021 and was out most of 2022, so rust was to be expected. Overall, 2022 was a wasted year. There were some positives to point out, like Nick Chubb being excellent, David Njoku starting to become a baller at tight end, and the newly acquired Amari Cooper proving that he was still a Pro Bowl level receiver. Defensively, they had to start fresh, and they fired defensive coordinator Joe Woods. Despite this wasted season, Browns fans looked forward to 2023. They were hoping this was going to be the season that was going to make all this drama the team had been involved with worth it.
Coach Schwartz's resume speaks for itself. He's somebody that I have a ton of respect for. Excited to announce Coach Schwartz, and the floor is Coach Schwartz's now. First question.
Jim.
Check. I guess that's it. Good night.
Through the opening 9 games of 2023, the Browns' season was anything but normal. Week 1, the defense was historically dominant, limiting Joe Burrow to 82 passing yards. The team found a way to win, despite a poor performance by Deshaun Watson. Week 2, the defense once again gave an A+ effort, but Watson had 3 turnovers, 2 of which were returned for touchdowns. However, the most devastating part of this game was Nick Chubb's injury. It was so bad that some thought his career would be over.
Chubb getting injured.
He always spends best.
Not to be seen. We're not going to show it.
Week 3, the team finally gave a great effort on both sides of the ball, but apparently Watson suffered a shoulder injury that caused him to miss the 4th game. But at the time, no one really knew what was going on. He was listed to start Week 4 until right before the game. In his absence, they got destroyed. Week 5, as huge underdogs against the 5-0 Niners, the Browns miraculously won with their elevated practice squad quarterback PJ Walker. Week 6, Watson returned for 5 passes. After leaving the game, Myles Garrett single-handedly dominated the Colts in a Hall of Fame level performance. Afterwards, Watson said he didn't play the rest of the game due to his shoulder. Quote, "At the end of the day, it wasn't right."
Goofy ass nigga, then why did you come back? You should have just stayed out for another week. What the
This raised alarms because if his throwing shoulder was an issue, why was he even out there to begin with?
Thank you.
Week 7, PJ Walker had to start once again, and the team suffered because of it. Week 8, Watson returned, But this game was all about the Browns defense, who was beginning to solidify itself as one of the best defenses in recent memory. They held Clayton Tune to 17 passing yards in a 27-0 victory. And lastly, Week 9, Watson put together an amazing second half in a thrilling come-from-behind victory against the Ravens. This was his best performance in a Cleveland uniform. However, any excitement felt from this moment soon vanished.
Here's the news. The Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will undergo season-ending surgery on a broken bone in his throwing shoulder.
In a bizarre 9-game stretch, Watson had gone in and out of the lineup multiple times.
Oh, it was shoulder, then leg. Brother, he literally became injury prone. Matter of fact, you got injured your first season. So, to be honest with you, you probably only had 2 to 3 healthy seasons. Yeah, this nigga's been injury prone the whole time.
And despite starting 3 separate quarterbacks, the team was amazingly 6-3, mostly due to their historically dominant defense. But a lot of these wins felt lucky and unsustainable. Now, with no clear answer at quarterback, surely the Browns were going to fall off. And after Watson's injury, they had to go get yet another quarterback.
Before we get to the game, a little bit of news before we started recording. It is official, the Browns are going to sign Joe Flacco to their practice squad.
What do you think you got,
Mr. Flacco?
I definitely believe I can still play.
The Browns signed Joe Flacco off the couch. Literally. The 38-year-old free agent had gone unsigned in 2023 and had spent the last few months as a stay-at-home dad, throwing the football around to his kids from time to time. Years back, this dude had terrorized the Browns as the Ravens starter, but after being replaced by Lamar Jackson in 2018, Flacco became a forgettable journeyman. When no one wanted him in 2023, Flacco's career was seemingly over. It was going to take a total quarterback fiasco for a team to give this old man a call. And that's just what happened in Cleveland. Then, after DTR suffered a concussion in their next game, Flacco was immediately promoted to the starter. Given the circumstances, Flacco did fine in his first game, but what took place over the next few weeks could be described as electric.
That's why they call me.
Flacco about to turn up in that hole. Flacco, tell him, looking down there, Flacco, dying.
Takes the handoff, Flacco, deep shot on first down, looking for the big play, and it's caught by Cooper. Second down and 12. Flacco looks. Flacco end zone. Touchdown. A dime to Njoku.
The Joe Flacco science, as we've termed it here, is unbelievable.
7. There's rush 4. Flacco watch. Got him deep. Cooper on the sideline.
Joe Flacco, let's face it, he's been everything for us since he got here.
Flacco, he takes us to the promised land. That's it.
Oh, I'm so happy the Browns are going to playoffs. Joe Flacco.
Hey, I wish we would have paid that Deshaun Watson money to Joe Flacco. I feel like he deserves it, honestly.
Big facts. He almost got a face mask. Get out the fucking jam. Take off.
You are yawning. Okay. Past bedtime. I understand you're old.
Way past bedtime, yeah.
And the AP Comeback Player of the Year, presented by PG, is
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
Come on, man.
When you take into account the state of the Browns offense prior to his arrival, and the fact that no one signed this dude, not even to a practice squad, what Joe Flacco had pulled off was one of the greatest stories in recent sports history. He was so good during his 5-game stretch with the Browns that they easily clinched a playoff spot, and the team was able to rest key starters, including Flacco, for the final week of the season. For Browns fans, after all the drama we had endured over the last few years, this was a much-needed moment to rally around, a brief feeling of football ecstasy.
Joe Flacco, that was as much excitement as I've ever seen out of you coming over and saying, wow.
Listen, I wish I was better with my words, but it's unbelievable.
Now, obviously, you can't give all the credit to Flacco. The defense heavily carried this team throughout the first 9 games, which resulted in Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year. Also, considering the team started 5 different quarterbacks and still won 11 games, it's no wonder Kevin Stefanski won Head Coach of the Year.
Which team was going to play harder, longer? Yes, sir! Right here! That question's answered. That question's answered.
And for what the defense did, Jim Schwartz won Coordinator of the Year. It was truly a magical season. Oh, and here's another wild aspect of the story. Baker Mayfield, now the Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback, was also a finalist for NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Imagine telling a Browns fan after winning that playoff game a few years back that Baker Mayfield was going to be up for Comeback Player of the Year, but he would lose to Joe Flacco, who's now your quarterback. It's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I'd love to end things here, because this was about as good as things got. The truth is, as much fun as this Flacco experience was, there was a downside. His gunslinger mentality had led to a boatload of interceptions. He was able to do more good than bad during the regular season, but it all caught up to him in the postseason when he threw 2 devastating pick sixes in a blowout loss to Houston. That playoff game was sobering, because just like that, it was all over. Not just the season, but also the Joe Flacco experience in Cleveland.
Last season, Joe Flacco came off the bench and led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs, and now he's stepping into the backup role with the Colts. the 39-year-old is ready to go.
Flacco had a different kind of approach. He had a lot of experience. He had that big arm, and he got the Browns down the field in a hurry and usually into the end zone. So the situation does seem to be kind of a public opinion situation. Deshaun Watson's going to be coming back in year 3 of a historic, huge contract that is a great debate if it's worth the price that the Browns have paid.
Hell no.
And he's coming back, and the Browns really need this to work.
Doesn't he tear his Achilles?
A big fly for the Big Bear.
For the Deshaun Watson era in Cleveland, it was now or never. 2 years had gone by, and not only had he missed 2/3 of the team's games, but he hadn't even been the best quarterback on the roster. Baker Mayfield was now a Pro Bowler in Tampa. Joe Flacco had won Comeback Player of the Year, and they got rid of him. Considering Watson's reputation off the field, in addition to not living up to expectations for what he was paid, let's just say the patience of the fans was gone.
Watson is coming off a historically bad outing in the season opener against the Cowboys, posting a Week 1 league worst QB rating of 9.3.
There goes Watson.
Oh, he
I'm
ain't
not
got
surprised.
the instincts no more. He used to get out of the jam way earlier.
Broke the news last night at 6. Deshaun Watson facing another sexual assault lawsuit.
Fans are so excited, and then everything just changes and eventually ends in disappointment.
Third down and 10. Watson surrounded by Giants. Down he goes. Their 6th sack today.
More pressure coming. Wilkins right
Lord
up.
have mercy.
Now he breaks left. He gets hit, and the ball's out.
Deshaun Watson
is getting assaulted.
It's awful. It's so awful.
The irony.
That if somebody wanted to arrest him for being awful, I would accept it.
Browns just look like a shit show every week, and it's not getting any better. Both just the body language on the field, and then obviously the result at the end of the game.
It just feels like when you watch him, everything's a battle. Like nothing really comes easy. Yet to try to get the ball to Judy.
Watson just stumbled, and now Watson is hurt. Oh boy! Immediately clutches at his right ankle.
Deshaun Watson's season is over. I think the biggest story coming out of Cleveland was the cheers when Deshaun Watson was being carted off of the field.
He ain't even taken a step yet.
That's some bullshit.
No, yeah.
I don't like that. That's some bullshit. As fans, to boo anyone and their downfall, and we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Man, it sucks to be a Browns fan.
Terrible.
I mean, their entire team decided to take a heel turn yesterday in press conferences.
I am very upset with the reaction to a man that has had the world against him for the past 4 years, and he.
Understandably so, but brother, if he touched those females inappropriately, should the world not be against him? Also, I think it's very important to note, if he did touch those females, would him getting injured not be karma? Therefore, them clapping would be more so like, oh, thank God type vibes. Not to say that he did or didn't do it, because I don't know. But don't you get happy when a miracle happens? Maybe some people viewing it as a miracle. Saying no.
He put his body and life on the line for this city.
Whoa, let's reel that in a bit.
No, nigga, he did it for a paycheck. Don't do that. Thank you. I hate y'all. Nigga, he's not doing it for the love of the game. He's getting paid $230 million. What are you talking about? I'm doing this for the love of the game. You're chatting.
Jameis, he puts his life on the line for the city. He's not storming the beach at Normandy. He's throwing slant passes against the Bengals.
That one should have had a little awareness with the way it was all kind of going down. Highest guaranteed contract in history. Everything else, and team stinks. And then it happens. It's like, obviously never want anybody to cheer on injuries. That is terrible. It's obviously another human.
The post-Achilles tear Deshaun Watson drama had clearly reached a boiling point. The relationship between all parties involved was getting worse, especially the one between Miles and the fans. The turbulent 2024 season for the Browns continued to spiral, and they went on to finish the season with a devastating 3-14 record. So now it's 2025, and the Browns are clearly at a crossroads when it comes to the quarterback situation. The Deshaun Watson trade will go down as the worst trade in NFL history. Not only did it crush the potential of a spectacular roster, but it also made the Browns go from one of the most beloved teams to the most hated. Throughout my time making this video, it appeared as if Myles Garrett was done with the team after all the drama he had endured over the last 8 seasons. But, like they say, money talks. I'm happy that he's still on the team because of how special he is as a player, but things have been weird lately, and it's hard not to look back at the 2020 Browns and think, man, how did we let this opportunity slip away? As a hopeful Browns fan who's trying to remain optimistic when it's really difficult to, I'll continue repeating the phrase we all tell ourselves to cope. There's always next year.
Brother, just burn the franchise. Like, nigga, y'all are cooked, and that's on God. migrate straight to the Bengals. Matter of fact, the Bengals and the Browns didn't have a merger because the Bengals got all the offense and the Browns got the defense. Y'all just need to merge together as one team, nigga, and then make a good team and then eliminate the Browns from history because y'all suck. And then be self-check. Like, Jimmy, why would you sign Deshaun Watson? I think he got injured before you was trying to sign him. Like, you don't even know if he's good or not, brother. Not signing that nigga. I'd rather tank and try to go crazy with some draft picks. This is insane work. Oh, that's the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Also, shout out to KTO, man. That was a great video. Sorry for your pain, brother. It's just the Browns. Like, y'all are horrible. I mean, the Chiefs were horrible, but now we're great. So, I mean, sooner or later, it all comes around. You know? Hit the notification bell so y'all can stay up to date when I drop videos on this channel. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, y'all.
Baby, slide by to my mausoleum. She got